Hey guys, welcome to another video. This video is going to showcase a passive tree setup for new players, so for example the new mobile players that joined the game for boss battles. So first I'll just show you the different setups in case you do not want to listen to my thoughts, and then I'll explain it. Basically, first of all, we take some points in the wind tree, which are these two big nodes and small ones. What they do is they offer you more speed. They make you speedier, like you get a lot of action speed from them, and you get initial action points at the start of combat. This makes you faster in battles and thus helps out. Then first we're gonna skip over mountain, because those are typically the last points you will invest. Next up in fire we take the first big node, simply because it increases your attack damage by 1.5% per level of strength, which is very good since strength is typically your form of damage, and even in a beginner run, once you hit the end game you should have at least 20. If you use the correct pills you should be looking at 25 strength, and that's a solid 30 to 37.5% damage. Then next up we go to the thunder tree, because similar to the fire tree it's also all about damage. We have to take the first node, it does not really offer anything. The second node offers you crit damage. You can, especially for the later boss battles, very easily buff your crit chance to high levels. Alternatively, if you use the different seal accessories like Imperial Seal or the one seal that grants guaranteed crit, you can, as mentioned, guarantee your crit hit and as such benefit from 30% crit damage. And then the most important node in the entire skill tree, even across all 6, calculated strike. For each point of strength higher than your opponent, you get 8% damage. This is incredible. So if you are running around with your character setup 25 strength, the typical enemy has, let's say, 10 strength in the end game. That's 120% additional damage you get from the singular node. Very important. Then if we talk about defenses, first of all you have the forest tree, and the most important node is the last node. What it does is, if you are standing adjacent to an enemy and they attack you, then you will reflect, or rather share back 40% of the damage you take. So what it means, if the enemy initially dealt 1000 damage, you only take 600 and the enemy takes the remaining 400. So this is a 40% damage reduction, very strong. You just need to position yourself correctly. The other nodes help a bit when you are attacked, but are not that necessary. If you could, you'd obviously only take the last node. Then we also take some points in the yin tree, and the important node is trained body, which reduces the effects of internal injury, poison, bleeding, blinded and sealed by 50%. Why this is really helpful in the late bosses is because a lot of bosses stack internal injury, which lowers your defense a lot, or they stack sealed so that you cannot move or do not get an action. And this actively helps to prevent that. As such, we use it for bosses. Now for typical trash AoE mobs, which I'm gonna also do a video for regarding the passive tree, you do not need this, but since this passive tree is for bosses, we use it. And then last but not least, we have the mountain tree. Since we have 8 points left in our current skill tree setup, we take this, which is 1.5% damage reduction per point of constitution. And with your usual build you're looking at 10 constitution, 15% damage reduction. Now if you start out and do not have all 100 points yet, as you are not level 100 yet, I'm gonna do a simple progression. Typically what you'd start out with is simply the fire tree. It requires very little points but offers good damage. Then it's a matter of, do you require defenses or offense? Typically in the early game people are gonna require more offense, so we take the thunder tree, we take the whole node, or the whole setup I've showcased. After I would immediately go for forest. This will provide you enough survivability for a long while, and we can fill it out with a bit of wind and then take these 2 nodes. You can also take these nodes later on, I'm just going to do it right now. And then if you are already facing an enemy, a boss that uses the different statuses, you immediately invest into the yin tree and then finish out with mountain. And that's the passive tree. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Bye.